So that was a nice victory. Milwaukee and Rockford, I thought Sogart was our best player Friday, and thankfully we had opportunity, right? But quite frankly, I did feel that Milwaukee was the better team overall Friday, and the better team deserved to win. And Saturday was one of those games where you felt good going in that we would be able to respond and get the 2 points, but there really wasn't anything that went well that night. From discipline to questionable officiating. We can't blame it all on our discipline. I've never, as an 8-year head coach, never had 4 or 5 on 3s against us, and that's never easy. So to fight back in that game was difficult. But on the positive, there was no quit. Now, whenever you're winning or losing by a big margin, the opposition tends to relax a little bit. So we were able to generate some OZP and do some things as the game progressed, but the game was over, quite frankly. But you just move on, and that's all you can do is press the reset button. 2 days off. Guys had their Halloween party together, and now we go back to work today.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the positives. I was going to say, you have to maybe dig to find them given the way that the trip ended, but over the course of the 3 games, there must have been a few bright spots for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the power play was fantastic Wednesday night, 3 for 8, and the PK went into the weekend. I think we were 4th in the league in penalty kill. Now, obviously, that took a huge hit on the weekend. But, when your special teams are both not having great nights, you're not going to win hockey games. And, our PK gave up 6 on the weekend, and our power play was flat for the most part both nights. Now, we did score a power play goal on Saturday, but, a power play goal at 8-1 really means nothing except for affecting the percentage. So, certainly there's a lot of ways to get better, and that's our plan this week. With the amount of adversity we faced with the roster over the first 3 weeks, it's been incredible, quite frankly, the amount of PTO players we've had to bring in, just with the amount of guys going down and big guys. We're not talking 4th line AHL type of players that are getting injured. It's our top guys. So that's the adversity we're facing right now, and we've got to come out of it.
Let's maybe get an update on those guys. The injury list was already pretty lengthy, and now you lose Roby Arvente as well. What is the latest, I guess, on that lengthy injury list?
Yeah, well, now that we're back in Belleville, both Arvente and Lodin seen our team physician this morning, and wasn't great news on either guy. Lodin, it is confirmed ankle sprain, high ankle sprain, which are always difficult to come back on, and so he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. Arvente was good news in terms of the injury, no ligament damage to the knee, so that's great news for him, but he's still, we're looking at 3-4 weeks for him as well. So, you take those 2 guys out, and Howerlick, that's 3 top 6 forwards that are out of your lineup. So you need guys to step up that are not accustomed maybe to different roles, and at the same time, it's about opportunity. So we'll have to deal with that here as we get closer to Friday.
Is there an update on the timeline of those other guys, Howerluck, Paré, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, Howerlick is, originally was a 4 to 6, and he's only been out a week, so you're still looking at another 3, 4, 5 weeks on him. So in terms of those 3 forwards that are big parts of our team, that's you're looking at more of a longer-term scenario. Paré should be ready to go. He's on the ice today, and we expect him to be ready to go for a Friday night, so that's good news. And Philly Daou is close as well. Philly Daou, I'm not quite sure he'll be ready for Friday or Saturday against Toronto, but with the following, not playing for another week, I suspect he'll be ready for the following weekend for sure. So positive news on those 2 guys, not so much on the other 3. And then Bibo went on the ice this morning in a tracksuit with PD, so he's progressing as well. But other than that, Aspero, actually, great news on him. He is ahead of schedule, so we're hoping he's December, but again, that's long term.
With all of that in mind, the GM and the rest of the hockey ops staff have been hard at work, and signing Corey Conacher to a PTO, that's a name that should be familiar to a lot of American Hockey League fans, as he brings quite the resume. Is the hope that he'll be able to just slide in here and start to provide that offensive help?
Well, I think we got to curb our expectations early because, he hasn't played yet this year, and even though he's been keeping in shape and skating once or twice a week, you're not talking about full contact practices or meaningful games. But we do feel he's obviously been a former MVP, and has done a lot of great things over his career, not only in the NHL, but at the American Hockey League level. So once he gets up to speed and gets his conditioning at a level where he can be the player that he was, or is, we expect him to step into that top 6 role and help our power play, and that's the reason why he's here. And he's from the Toronto area or the Hamilton area, and his family's there, so it was a real good fit for what our needs are right now and for what he was looking from a career perspective.
Just on Conacher, he has some position flexibility. He can play center, he can play the wing. Does that really help you with your long injury list as well?
Well, I think we're a little right wing now, even though he's a left shot. He's played a lot of right wing over his career, and that's where we're going to start him. Just because with Sokolov and Sabrin, with Robbie gone and Lodin gone, we're looking more on the wing. Specifically with Ridley Gregg and Lucchini and Chartier up the middle. We need some guys to be able to transition to the wing. So, I remember more of a kid that's played us off wing the most. So that's where we're going to start him, and we'll see where that takes us.
And just his veteran presence, just coming into the locker room, what does that do for some of these younger guys?
Well, I think we've mentioned it before in terms of our leadership core, quite the turnover from last year, and we've been leaning on guys like Chartier and Lucchini, and obviously when your captain's up in the NHL, it's tough to lead from the NHL. Great for Heater, but that was a big loss in the leadership department. So we've been looking to add to that area just because we haven't been playing with a full set of vets. So he's got a great resume, and I'm sure he can help those young guys out, and we'll continue to look to add in that area of the lineup.
And just Lehigh Valley, Ian LePere, you've coached against him a couple times. What have you seen from him and his team on tape?
Well, it's really too early for us to even think about that right now. We're just coming off last week, and quite frankly, for me, it's about getting our team right and how we need to play to build our identity and make sure we're winning hockey games. And we'll dive into Lehigh Valley as the week progresses. And as I've said multiple times, when you only play a team twice, you're not dissecting as much as maybe the Toronto Marlies or the Laval Rockets. So I know there's been some turnover in Lehigh, like most teams, but they got the reputation coming in with a tremendous work ethic, and that. So as long as we match their work ethic and come to play and be ready to go Friday night at home, we should be in good shape.